Hello, everybody, and welcome to a super special edition of UpRise Live. It's Thursday. We're almost close to Mother's Day, and this month, the month of May, we are celebrating graduation. All these leaders who are passing exams, getting jobs, getting through everything we talked about where we met. They would have come to training camp, spent weeks with us, then spent countless hours with their career coach, going through classes, some of them learning how to poke people with needles, some of them learning how to take temperatures, some of them learning how to deal with COVID things. I wouldn't want to do any of it. Some of our leaders have learned how to work Microsoft Excel. I want no parts of that. Some of our leaders have learned how to drive tractor trailer trucks. I want no parts of that. And all the other things that our leaders have done. And that's why we're celebrating this month, and we're so excited. And we are here in the park on location. I'm so excited to have Malenche, who you've all seen some things about. We'll get to talk today. And I have a special guest who's Al. Not this Al, but this Al. And then I'll let you introduce our third person here.
This is Lola.
And we say hello to Lola as well. So everybody, we're so excited to take time to talk to Malenche as we get ready to move through this month, and we arrive to graduation on the 27th, which we're so excited. So thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So, Malenche, you and I met last fall.
Right.
And so tell me, what did you think about UpRise when you first came for the interview?
When I first came, I was nervous, scared, a lot of anticipation. I'm like, am I gonna do this? And then I looked around, I'm like, wow, I'm the oldest one in here. And then I was like, oh, wow.
Were you the oldest person in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am. And then I'm like, then as I sit there and I was like taking it all in, the first day was like, oh my God, this is so much like school. Am I gonna get through this one? But as time progressed, went on, I loved it. I'm like, people say that you gotta be blood, but family would have the same blood, but I went into a family group setting that I love. I'm like, the extended family that I have now couldn't get no better. I'm like, UpRise opened their arms, their heart, their minds to whatever I had going on, listen to me. I'm like, the circle was the best therapy in the world I could get. I'm like, there's nothing like the circle. That's one of my best parts of being there, because it's like therapy out of this world. And I'm like, he doesn't get any better. Then meeting Al, you as a person, I'm gonna tell you, the first time I was sitting at the table, I'm like, oh my God. And I remember that day I had to have my medicine. I'm like, I gotta go. I was like, okay, it's fine. But yeah, I made it. And I'm like, out of all the decisions I made in life, this was the best. Because me, myself, personally, my biggest thing I'm looking forward to is graduation. I dropped out of school, and then I look back and everybody's going to the reunions and all that, and I never got a chance to walk. I got my GED, but I want to walk. I want that cap and that gown, I want to walk. I'm like, there's nothing no better.
Well, we're excited because in a very short time you will be walking.
Yes.
And now that I know you want to walk, when we set it up, I get to make sure that we add some extra steps for you to walk just a little further so you can enjoy that entire walk in the cap and gown. And so for those who haven't met Malenche, and you might have seen some things we've put out there with her success, which we'll talk about now, but she's part of our ADA class, and they kicked off this past October, joining us for training camp. It was our first camp back in person. We were hybrid because of COVID, and so we had to figure out a space for everybody to come, and Malenche was one of the people to help drive the class, and so we were so thankful. What do you remember? What was one of your best memories of training camp?
I like the picture Kucha because they got to me to do my thing, and express what's mine was all about meeting her. The very first time I saw your face, which was it. And just the fact that Miss Gwen just taking the time out and doing the whole series, everybody doing the series about the interview process and all that, because I thought me personally had it down pat. But yeah, they enlightened me and opened my eyes. And yes, my first interview, I knocked it out the park, and yes, I did land that first job.
Well, you know, you now you telling the story before we get there. You got to give me time to build up to that. People,
Yes, but all the intake and, you know what I'm saying, everything that they taught me and opened my eyes and enlightened me on, which I thought, like I said, I thought I knew it all. But no, it's always time to grow, and there's people there at UpRise that walk you through every step and process. So if you feel like you on shaky ground, y'all gonna reach up under us and scoop us up like, no, we got this. And yeah, it's a serious backbone process, but y'all do it.
well, we are excited. And so for you, you made it through training camp. We did
Yes.
6 weeks together. You left training camp, and where'd you go next?
I went to NATS Nursing Training Institute on Murfreesboro Road, and I went to that program. I did that program. Then, as I went on to my clinical, which was at ASC, during full-fledged COVID outbreak, which at the time they never had an outbreak, and then as soon as we got there, poof, scary. So I was like, but I made it through there. Made it through the whole program. Didn't catch nothing. And then I caught it when I got home when the program was over with.
That's right. You made it all the way to the end, and I remember that family dinner. You was sitting there, and I was like, "Where's Malenche?" And they were like, "You was like, I'm trying to make it, y'all. I'm so tired. I'm so tired."
I had COVID, so yeah. But y'all did all the right steps and did all the right protocols. They kept everybody safe, which is good. Things happened, but yes, I made it.
Fantastic.
We made it.
And so, one of the other questions I have, so you made it through NATS, and then you were able to, then you had to study for the exam. So tell me, what was the study for the exam? Hold on, it's something over there. Let's.
Courtney's.
So for everybody who's watched the show, our executive producer, Courtney, is now chasing off squirrels. You hear the chirping in the background.
Everybody can jump up.
If you can imagine Courtney back there with a stick or something now trying to chase, well, something growled, so either it's a person or something, but.
It sounds like a. Oh, okay.
Well, everybody.
As long as it don't come out in her hair, we'll be good.
Yeah.
She comes screaming.
So now you get to know part of some of the duties of our executive producer who, by contract, I have to bring her up 5 times every episode or else it's a problem. And so, so back to Malenche. So we did training camp. We went to NATS. We knocked it out the park. You did your externship? Is that what
Yeah, it's like clinicals. 40 hours of clinicals.
So we did clinicals. And where'd you do your clinicals?
At AHC on Ashland City Highway.
Okay. And so we did the clinicals, and then it was time to study for the exam.
Yes, yes, and it was like, whew, am I gonna do it? I was so nervous. And then on top of that, normally we'll take an exam in Nashville. Because of COVID, I had to go way out of town to take it. Because there was they had me scheduled for Nashville at Trevecca, but something happened. Well, not Trevecca, it was another location on Wedgewood. Something happened. They canceled on me the week. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And then as time built on, the anticipation and me second guessing myself, I don't think I'm gonna do it. But me, I knocked it out the park. Only thing I forgot to do was put the call light on the bed after I did the blood pressure. And I was so nervous that I wasn't gonna do this test. I wasn't gonna make this test. I'm gonna do it. I ain't got it. But yeah, come to find out, I doubted myself the wrong way. I did it.
She did it. In fact, you were one of those people who, because of COVID, a lot of the testing locations were closed. So she drove an hour and a half each way to take this test. And I was like, that alone, I would have been nervous and then tired and frustrated, probably hungry, driving an hour and a half this way to take a test that you've been nervous.
Anxiety on 1,000.
And I looked, and for those who know Malenche, I was telling her, she said, you know, I passed my test, and everybody knew from training camp was like, oh, everybody expected you to pass your test because how much you bring to the table.
Thank you.
And so now Malenche has passed the test, so what's next is what she mentioned before. You got an interview with who?
Skyline, and now I'm working in cardiac nephrology. Loving it, loving the patient, loving the experience, love it all. And now, thinking back, now my next step is either going to be RN or LPN.
RN.
On top of first, I got to get my phlebotomy.
Got to get your phlebotomy.
I'm just want to do this because now, after doing the steps and the process, I know I can do more.
You can do more.
I'm going to do more.
And so again, you know, none of us were surprised when Gwen told us that, hey, Malenche has an interview. I've worked with her. We got her prepped. She's ready to go. We know it's going to knock it out. And nobody was surprised when Gwen sent a message that said, Malenche got the job. And we all went, who expected otherwise, right?
Right.
And now we got to have family dinner the other night. And Malenche looked at me and she said, you know I'm going back to school, right? And I told her right then, who didn't expect that for you, right? So everybody, one of the great things has been watching Malenche walk what we sat down and planned to do. This is what we said you were going to do. You said this is why I'm here. And then actually, let's talk about that. So what was the motivation for you being in UpRise?
Looking back over all the wrong decisions I made, and then the death of my son and her mother, I'm like, I wanted to make a difference in her. So when she looked back, because me, I looked at my age and the situation and the things I've been through, and then I was like, no, I got to make it a point to where I want her to know that you can do whatever you set your mind to. You see, she's giving her heart, but I wanted to make it a difference for her. I want her to have everything I didn't have, everything that her mother and father wanted her to have. So, and I'm going to put her in that house with that fence, with that yard. So she, with her extra puppy that I promised her, hopefully this year I will start in the process of buying me a house.
So that's what's next. We got, so everybody, we've already seen Malenche start. If you looked at the pictures from our Ada class, you would have seen her come to class. You would have seen her share through the Pechacuchas. You would have seen then her also make it through that, go into her training, make it through her training, go and actually get COVID in between that, make it through COVID, get the interview, knock it out the park, and then we were on family dinner again as a group. And guess who wants to pop in to family dinner from work just to show everybody that I really got this job and I love it, and to tell anybody else in the class they were hiring was somebody at this space.
Hey, I came to the dinner after 20. I've been up for 24 hours.
That's true.
Yes, I went to work. I did a 12-hour shift, turned around, did a 6-hour shift, turned around, went on the other side of town, picked her up, got ready. I was going on 24.
Woo.
Still hyped. But I did it. Yeah, those shifts, 12 hours to sneak up on you.
Oh my goodness. Well, everybody, we're excited. As you'll see this month, we're just excited. First, we're excited because we're saying happy Mother's Day to just true leaders of the household, which are mothers and moms taking care of great individuals like this one, leading the charge, changing lives by just being who they are every day. So we say thank you to you all. Then to our leaders who we are celebrating all month as we are making this march to graduation. Congratulations to all of you. We're so excited. To those who have a little bit left, let's get it finished. And then to anybody who is interested in UpRise, guess what? We have the doors open. You can click any links that are around this to sign up for an info session to come and be part of the program. We can even connect you with Malenche.
You will not forget it. I'm telling you, you won't regret it and you won't forget it, because it's going to be the best decision of your life. Trust me. I am walking billboard for UpRise. I love it.
There's nothing else I got to say, everybody. We'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Have a great one.
Bye.